going to be playing that Chien-Pao deck.
Yeah, very interesting that both of these players are on 503. In theory, they could have actually taken an intentional draw to make their way into day 2 if they wanted to, but I think both of them deciding, you know what, I would rather take the win and give myself a better chance in day 2.
I think Azul's been quite vocal about this, because he's not here just to get into day 2. He's here to make it into that top 8 and give himself the best advantage possible. And the way you do that is by winning more rounds of Pokemon, be it today or tomorrow. So simply accepting that you're not getting a win is not as beneficial as taking the additional points and just helping you a little bit more in day 2 when the competition is even more fierce.
Oh, actually, I've just had a word. There was a slight mistake. Actually, Nicola has 1 less match point than on the screen, so he has to play it out.
It's a down pair for Azul.
I
don't think it actually matters.
No, I don't think so
because Azul
either.
will still have that mentality.
Yeah.
He is not here to just get day 2. That's a huge achievement for so many players, but Azul's been around the block for a long time. He is one of the greatest players we've ever seen. He is hungry for more than making it into day 2. He's only interested in top 8s and better.
Yeah, it all seems like, like, I'm trying to find the right word for this. It's the sort of thing where when you say it right, it sounds so silly. Oh, you wouldn't be happy with a day 2, but for someone like Azul, that is the case. It's actually like you said, he is so much of a successful player. But here we go, win and in time here at Stockholm. We are kicking things off, and it looks like Nicola will be going first.
Starts with a Chien-Pao. That's not that bad. Obviously, you can attack with Chien-Pao. It is one of your main attacking Pokemon. I did get a quick scout of the prize cards, and Azul has prized Rotom V, which can certainly be awkward. That is your main drawing Pokemon. So that being in the prizes can be a little bit awkward. It can slow Azul down, certainly. Nicola's going to start things off with a Shivery Chill to get 2 water energy out of the deck. You immediately know what you're up against. You see a block Snorlax.
Yep.
There's no question of what the matchup's going to be here. So Nicola is already, from turn 1, going to be having to adapt their strategy entirely here.
Yeah, got to have very much in mind, you know what, I need to play differently. I can't go too wide with too many things that can be stalled easily. I need to make sure that anything that I put down, I can easily attack with. That's going to be the absolute key here to deal with this Snorlax. And actually, with that exactly in mind, Nicola just attach passes.
Yep, I really like the choice, to be honest with you. You're starting to threaten an attacker, and you're making Azul have to react to this this Chien-Pao. You're not really going to attack into it, so you are just allowed to slowly attach and swing with Hail Blade turn by turn.
Yeah,
is that an early Hisuian Heavy Ball? That's huge for Azul.
Oh, wow, okay, yes.
Turn 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball. I just mentioned Rotom V found its way in there, and this is a big break for Azul to be able to access this card so early to make sure you're drawing through the deck. There are actually 2 copies in Azul's list, but having instant access to instant charge is massive.
When you play multiples of something and you prize one of them, Hisuian Heavy Ball goes from not just being able to fish the card out of the prizes, it almost turns into a pseudo search card by itself, right?
It's the perfect time to find it, and Azul is going to be shuffling up those prize cards. Probably won't be accessing those again, I would imagine.
I would also
if
not
everything
imagine,
goes as expected. Azul does play a Sandshrew in his deck as well.
Oh, okay.
A Sandscreen tech card. It's been something I've heard murmurs of throughout the weekend, and that could be denying the Silene from getting back item or supporter cards later on in the game. That could be big.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to get it up on screen so we can show you guys. Yeah, that Sandscreen ability, specifically trainer cards in your opponent's discard pile can't be put into their deck by an effect of your opponent's item or supporter card.
So that's going to be blocking Super Rods, and there's actually no Silene in Nicola's list either, but it would be preparing yourself for that.
Yeah. Oh, we do see an Airy though here from Azul, and
turn 1.
So Azul's gonna have a good look at the hand, and straight away 2 superior energy retrievals. That is brutal on Nicola.
That is massive. These are the ways that Nicola can recover these energy, and it's so inefficient to get through Snorlax. They're so chunky. There's always a 3 energy discard for Chien-Pao to Hail Blade through, and that's before we even start considering the hit point buff tools that Azul can add on to make them even more awkward to KO. So getting rid of 2 superior is ideal for Azul.
Yeah, it's if you think about it in a roundabout way, Azul has essentially just used 1 Airy to discard 8 of Nicola's energy.
Absolutely wild. Yeah. Azul's able to Artisan here, gets another Snorlax developed, and still has Rotom available to end the turn, drawing 3 cards. Is that already the Sandshrew in hand, even?
It, yeah, sure, looks like it.
It might be a card you wait on until you've seen Prime Catcher, because you know that the Sandshrew is going to be a lot safer. So it's nice to have access to it and know it's available, but it may be something you hold on to for a while, as it's also just going to end on the 3 cards from Rotom V.
Yeah, instant charge. Lets you draw 3 cards anytime you want, but you do end your turn when you do it. But in a deck like Control, where you don't really want to attack, you don't really mind.
Let's see the avenue that Nicola wants to take here. There's a few things to keep track of. We're going to see Bidoof as one of their options from Artisan here, at least put to the front of the deck. It's likely you're going to need Baxcalibur at some point throughout the game. And it is instead going to be just a Frigibax here.
It's always tough, right? Because although, yeah, you definitely do need the draw, if you put a Bidoof down, that is something that can't really attack that well. I mean, you can do Tail Smash, I guess, with the Bibarrel, but...
yeah, you don't want to be in that spot.
No, you really don't. So I think Nicola recognizing that and saying, you know what, especially now that 2 of my superior energy retrievals are gone, I want to try and win more quickly. What's the way to do that? Get just the one that Frigibax out, evolve it into Baxcalibur, so you have access to that super cold ability, and you can start taking KOs.
We do still see a Buddy Buddy Poffin, though, from Nicola.
Okay.
So may still want to develop just a draw engine so you don't get hit with Iono and just sort of sputter.
Yeah, I guess that is the other tricky part. Cause
that's the only thing that I'm weighing up in my head. But yeah, it is going to be the early Bidoof here.
Yeah, and actually early Bidoof and another Frigibax for good measure, but why did those go into the hand?
Yeah, the Buddy Buddy Poffin should definitely put them immediately to the bench.
Yeah, that's not
we'll
how
make
Buddy
sure that
Poffin
that's
works.
corrected, because we need to get those onto the board here before the Shivery Chill coming in.
Yeah, and
Azul's just pointing out that the Buddy Buddy Poffin goes direct to bench.
Yeah, and then Nicola realizing, oh, whoops, there we go.
I feel like it's one of those things where, because you're already thinking about doing other actions and trying to skip shuffling, essentially.
Yeah.
I think that's what was going on with Nicola, but happy to bench the Bidoof. Also benching the Radiant Greninja that was found from the Irida as well. So Nicola going for like a traditional early game, I suppose, and just hoping that they can maximize tempo here as their best choice. It's a risk, though, as we know. This is going to be a real easy target for Azul throughout the game to try and block.
Yeah, very understandably as well, does discard that lightning energy. Iron Hand's not really going to be a great thing to go for in this matchup. All of Azul's attackers, if you can call them attackers, all of Azul's Pokemon have too high an HP to really do anything meaningful. So it looks like it's just going to be 120.
Yeah, 120 damage, 2 energy into the discard pile for Chien Pao, and starting to pressurize Azul's Snorlax early on here. Maybe trying to force Azul into early pennies rather than other hand disruption supporters.
I mean, I guess maybe one thing Nicola could be thinking of, by going fully wide on the bench, you kind of you prevent Erika's invitation from being able to be played.
That's also true.
So
it may be based on what's in hand. Maybe there's like a Manaphy or something awkward that's in hand. So you say, well, maybe I just go wide instead, as Azul's going to continue getting multiple Snorlax in play, thanks to Artisan here. Has a pretty safe and secure early game, by the looks of things.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty content with things right now, especially, as you already mentioned, Joe, seeing that Radiant Greninja come down has got to feel pretty good, because I guess the one difference with Radiant Greninja in Chien Pao specifically is you can attack with it. That is the one thing. You can, of course, do Moonlight Shuriken, but 90 plus 90 doesn't usually get you that far.
No. Azul is going to use that penny as his supporter for the turn, going into Mimikyu, force Nicola to retreat this Chien Pao. Now, of course, is able to retreat because block is no longer affecting it. But again, it's just one of these things where you've already taken a couple superior out of the sort of resources available for Nicola. Making them pay retreat is going to be just more resources gone for good, essentially.
Now, there's an interesting choice here for Nicola, because with this Mimikyu in the active, you could maybe consider attacking with Greninja. It would be able to knock it out, but then, of course, you run the risk of it being stuck in the active and not being able to do much else with it. And also, where would you even put the other 90? Maybe in one of the Snorlaxes?
Maybe onto Rotom.
Yeah, onto Rotom,
maybe onto a Snorlax, It's
no, Rotom has 190, which is so awkward.
It looks like a glaringly obvious play to go for the Greninja because it's such a clean KO on the Mimikyu. But also just the fact that you could keep announcing an attack with Baxcalibur every turn is also quite appealing.
Yeah.
Especially with those superiors gone early. I don't want to have to keep discarding my energy turn by turn.
Yeah, Baxcalibur is one of the few attackers in the deck that doesn't need you to discard energy, and just doing a solid, was it 130 damage, I believe?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, really just in this matchup, both your engine and an attacking option, just being able to deal with this Mimikyu quite nicely. Not quite doing enough damage to KO a Snorlax, though, which could be a problem.
Yeah, having to slowly churn through Snorlax is so awkward when Penny is a card that can be slammed very often by Azul, playing the full 4 copies and 3 Palpad. So making no secret of the fact that Penny is a crucial supporter and will be used freely repeatedly throughout the game.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Irida here from Nicola. Obviously, rare candy to get into Baxcalibur so he can continue the pressure here. Something that was a little bit awkward was that Super Rod was drawn into from the Radiant Greninja.
Oh,
and once
okay.
again, Eerie becomes a scary threat now.
Yeah, that is true. I'd like to take a brief aside to ask you something, Joe. So put yourself in like the mind of someone who is playing against Control. Now, for me, for example, if I were playing against this, to me, Rotom is one of the first targets I want to go for, mainly because not just because it's 2 prizes, but the way Control and Stalling Archetypes tend to win is just by building up the resources to always being able to disrupt you, and Rotom gives you exactly that. Are you...
I certainly agree, yeah. Especially because, again, with Penny being an option, Rotom's not there forever. You can just remove those easy prizes later on in the game. Whilst Azul like accumulates this value and builds a big enough hand size, once he gets to that crucial threshold of cards where he thinks, yeah, I'm good for a number of turns, I don't need any more resources from my deck, let's pick up this Rotom, this liability, and even maybe force Azul to like recover the Rotom even later down the line, could just force them to play things like Arven, which aren't hand disruptors. So I do think it's a good thing to target down early. The fact that it's an annoying Mimikyu though might also just mean, oh, it's just going to be the attachment. Not going for full pressure here. Had plenty of water energy with the Earthen Vessel in hand as well. Could easily have launched an attack here with a Radiant Greninja or a Baxcalibur, but taking things a little slower, not wanting to walk into Countercatcher so early, perhaps.
I guess so, but I mean, like you very rightly mentioned, Joe, there is a bit of a risk of an Eri here being absolutely devastating. There's so many good resources in hand that Nicola held onto, and if Azul can find another Eri, Nicola could be in for a very, very bad time. I
mean, there's no knowing that, like, Azul can't know that Super Rod was drawn into. Possibly also trying to get value from cancelling Cologne, perhaps. It can be used on block as well as with Mimikyu. Maybe that's something that's playing on Nicola's mind. You can, of course, cancel out the ability of Mimikyu and then attack into it via this Chien-Pao.
Yeah, certainly a lot to think about in any case, but just ending on the instant charge.
Yep, Azul's gone full Snorlax on the bench and is going to keep churning through his own deck. And you can just see he's holding a huge chunk of cards here. Let's see how Nicola wants to play this now. So it's going to be a Shiver Chill, once again, kicking off the turn. Is there even any more water energy in the deck? Not at this stage, but just continuing to have a look through at what resources remain here. One crucial thing from Nicola's list is that he does play 1 copy of Iono, and that's quite different from a lot of Chien-Pao that we've seen so far today. Most of them carry no hand disruption, so if there can be a situation where you can Iono a ton of resources back into the deck for Azul and just leave him with a low hand size, that can be something you can use to punish. It's going to be another couple cards from Greninja here. What do we think Nicola's looking for this turn? For me, I'm a little bit concerned. With so many Superiors gone, I do not want to get rid of my water energy for anything but attacks, I think.
Yeah, I think the honest answer is I'm not sure. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking there are definitely a few lines that Nicola could take, but if I were in Nicola's position right now, I would be feeling a little bit iffy about what I actually go for here, because especially given that you've started things like a little bit slower, I think there's a temptation to do that when you're playing against Control, because you think to yourself, oh, I don't want to, burn through too many resources too quickly. I want to make sure I play responsibly, but you have to strike that right balance, because if you give the Control archetype too much time, like we just mentioned, they can find their resources, they can find their disruption cards, and that's when they can take control of the game. Yeah,
it's not as evident as like your opponent going 2 or 3 prizes up on you, but they are slowly accumulating those resources to create the most detrimental and awkward turns for you every single turn of the game. So the fact that Azul's had a few free turns to just draw with Rotom with no real prize pressure is still a big detriment. So we do see the Earthen Vessel from Nicola here, getting those energies into the hand. We do see an energy going onto the Chien-Pao. Oh, and just the retreat here, and it is going to be the Greninja. My concern is we are already quite low on energy recovery cards with 1 Super Rod played and that huge hit of 2 Superior right on the first turn from Azul. It's been a game changer already.
Yeah, it really has, but it looks like Nicola is going for this. So Moonlight Shuriken, KO on the Mimikyu, and gonna be doing 90 to something. And
it's just gonna be a Snorlax. I think that's reasonable as well.
Yeah.
Like you said, 190 hit points on the Rotom means it's not that logical to like continue spamming Greninja, really. So just putting something on the Snorlax, give them something to worry about. Seems pretty reasonable. You can still see some switch card shenanigans, some bravery charms, so Azul can still offset the math without having to use a penny this turn.
Yeah, it almost goes back to something we were alluding to earlier, right, about giving your opponent a good excuse to do a pickup move. We saw that earlier with the Professor Turo scenario. If you put the 90 on the Rotom, it is such an easy idea to just, you know what, I'm going to pick this up now.
And that's already what Azul wants to do at some point in the game. So yeah, good call there. It's going to be an Arven for Azul. Arven is a big supporter in this deck because you do play a number of crucial one-of item cards, but at the same time, you have a lot of hit point buffing tools and, of course, Forest Hill Stone, which can cherry pick any card out from the deck. As it stands, it's going to be a Defiance Vest picked up from Azul. Obviously, now is behind on prize cards and is likely to remain behind on prize cards for the rest of the game. And it means that your Pokemon take 40 less damage from attacks.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I remember seeing a Defiance Vest in the prize cards, but Azul is playing the 2 count, so able to find one more from the deck at least. And yeah, very, very strong tool card in these controlling archetypes that basically almost never take prizes.
Yeah, sometimes the Bravery Charm is preferred because it's just an extra 10 hit points naturally, but when Pokemon are kind of poking you, sometimes you can get additional value from a -40 instead.
Yeah, and big moment here. This is exactly what we were talking about that Nicola might be worried about. Counter catcher, bringing up that Bibarel, and now that Bibarel is an absolute liability.
Yeah, no surprise that the Bibarel is the first thing that Azul targets. Also going to Bravery Charm the Rotom, force even more resources out of Nicola if they are going to find their way out of the trap. And will Nicola be opting for a cancelling clone play or spending Prime Catcher? These are the options that we have to move this Bibarel at the very least.
I don't hate using Prime Catcher and just taking out the Rotom. You know, the Bravery Charm is on it now. You can just load up a Chien-Pao just to get rid of it. It's not great discarding so many energies, but I think you need to just do that and then... I was going to say find a way to disrupt the hand, but no, Nicola's not playing it. No, oh, there's one Iono.
Yeah, there is an Iono on the
Okay.
deck. So unlike most traditional Chien-Pao, it is playing one-hand disruptor.
Yeah. So if you can combine that, maybe that's something to think about. Just reduce the hand size, KO the Rotom, and maybe just, you know, hopefully poke the bear, as it were, and eventually run Azul out of healing out.
Well, Prime Catcher inbound by the looks of things for Nicola. So this is obviously one way to move this Bibarel, and as you said, it can lead to a 2-prize KO this turn.
Like I said, I don't hate it. It might just be the best way to go. Yep, it looks like that is going to be the choice. Prime Catcher found off that Irida. And do you find a Water Pokemon as well? No, but just the Prime Catcher in this
My
instance.
fear is if the KO is not guaranteed right now, that you're not getting maximum value from the Prime Catcher. So I hope we also have Superior in hand here for Nicola.
I mean, the hand is pretty big, right? I do remember, like... oh, no, okay.
I think.
Oh, okay, I misremembered in that case.
They can lower their hand size quite substantially for a Bibarel.
That is true, yeah.
It's not the vacuum that gets lost. Yeah, figured it out.
Wrong way around. There we go. So they lost vacuum to get rid of the Artisan. Not so much for the Stadium bump because the Pokestop is in hand already, but just, as you mentioned, Joe, getting the cards out of the hand. And yeah, I guess you play down as much as possible. Prime Catcher, Nicola's going for it.
Yep, these are the big plays you have to make when you're a little bit behind thanks to early Eri. You want to try and get as much tempo as possible. It's going to be a quick Shivery Chill first. This means you can't get any Bibarel draws. But you can immediately Super Cold.
Yeah,
so that's fine.
yeah. So you're actually just you're actually improving your odds by fitting a card out of the deck. Is that only 1 energy left though?
Yeah, this is my fear. we've not even seen Sneaky Sandshrew just yet.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
And with Prime Catcher played, Azul can freely bench Sandshrew next turn.
Yeah.
And it's going to be even more troublesome.
It might be that Nicola doesn't even know that Azul plays Sandshrew. It is a relatively new tech inclusion. Oh, that's a very good Pokestop though.
Yeah, we do hit to Superior. That's exactly what Nicola was hoping to see.
Yeah, and 2 good fodder cards too.
Exactly. Getting rid of double Nest Ball, which won't be useful. There's 4 more energy coming back into the hand. Can immediately be reined into play.
Yeah.
With Bat's Caliber.
Oh, those gold energies as well. Just got blinded a little bit. Super shiny. Lovely to see that. But yeah, 5 energies currently in hand. Definitely enough to KO this Rotom, even with the Bravery Charm. I guess, do you commit all of them at this point? Maybe then you can go for a draw of Bibarel?
Well, there's 4 cards in hand right now. Bibarel could draw you 1. You can commit another Water Energy, but it feels risky because your opponent can target so many Pokemon to be an awkward Pokemon to retreat.
Yeah.
It's going to be one onto the other Chien-Pao EX. Then it's going to be a Bibarel for 2 cards.
Yeah, Industrious Incisors coming in. Let's see, what does Nicola find here? It looks like it's a... Oh,
there is the Iono.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be handy at some point, especially when you're taking out this Rotom here.
Yeah, so it's going to be... Yeah, there's 3 energies, 4 energies discarded in total.
4 energy discard, keeping 1 on the active Chien-Pao. It's going to help get over the Bravery Charm, of course, for those additional hit points as well. And Nicola does go down to 3 prize cards remaining, but I think this is where Azul's going to put on a lot of pressure. Yeah. Because this Sandshrew is going to deny the last Super Rod that Nicola has available. And we've already seen a lot of those switching resources spent. I think it's just one cancelling cologne to get through and one superior. I think that's all that remains for Nicola in terms of resources.
It's not
one superior may not even be enough here, because if something's trapped, you might have to use that superior just to retreat a Pokemon in the first place, and that's alongside a cancelling cologne. So I feel like Azul's actually in a commanding position here.
Yeah, definitely.
Look at the book of cards he's holding. It's insane.
I can't even count how many that is in hand. How many cards is that in hand? Yes.
Exactly. And Azul can actually start filtering out cards now as well. It's going to be as expected. A counter catcher. Bibarel's coming straight back into the active. Sandshrew plus Hero's Cape coming on as well. Make it as tanky as possible, just in case there is any shenanigans in the deck list. Going to see a Pal Pad as well. I think there was at least a penny in there for Azul getting back into the mix. And yeah, I think this is the turning point for the game. Nicola's got through a couple of resources, and it's going to be down to Azul to just shut the door at this stage, and it's going to be basically no more prizes taken, I think. And
I think the judge there is having to read the Sancho just to get a good reminder of what it does. Yeah, don't worry, we had to do that too. Just we had some familiarity with it going in, but definitely not a card a lot of people expected, I think it's safe to say.
No, I mean, it's a card I heard murmurs about, but it's really just shining this weekend, I think. This Sandshrew could be handy against Charizard players as well. You can stop things like Team Yelchir getting back things like Professor Churro into the deck, so Charizard may even run out of resources against you. So, yeah, it's not just for one matchup, although it can be very handy here.
Yeah, and of course, it's very important to note with Sandshrew, it's a one-sided thing. You know, it only blocks your opponent from doing their thing, so, you know, you can still use all your resources, all your Team Yelchirs to get your things back. It is only your opponent that is prevented.
Let's see if Nicola wants to go for an Iono play here to unlock the hand a little bit more. I think there's a Cypher Maniac in hand, but I don't know if you can lower your hand size enough to actually draw from Bibarel here. Possibly you can combine it with Pokestop. Yeah,
possibly. I guess maybe you also look through to see what actually can you even get.
So the Super Odds shut down. The Superior is still alive, and the Cancelling Clone. These are the only resources remaining.
Yeah. Is that a counter catcher that Nicola's thinking of grabbing? But
I wouldn't expect. I think it's just looking through what's
Super
left.
Odd,
I mean, Super Odd's not helpful at all. Sandshrews blocking it.
Yeah.
Oh no, it only stops item and supporters coming back. Okay, so the Super Odd's still live.
Okay.
But it's still going to be expensive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, trader cards.
Yeah,
can't
that's my bad.
Yeah. Okay, so you can't pay the engine back. So the Super Rod is still okay.
But maybe the barrel's getting powered up then.
Yeah. Tail Smash, let's go.
You can immediately access these energy with the vessel that's in hand. It is going to be the Pokestop Slam.
Yes, it is. So there it is. Yeah, Superior Energy Retrieval, Super Rod, and Rare Candy for good measure as well, just in case. Yeah, that's actually decent for unclogging the hand. There's a Baxcalibur in there, although it does have an even higher retreat cost than the Frigibax, so it may not even be a card you want to play. I mean, to be fair though, there's already one Baxcalibur out, so I think it's almost like irrelevant.
Yeah, it's only if you were digging for additional cards and wanted to go lower in the hand size for the barrel to top you up, but at this stage you've already ciphered out kind of the best stuff.
Yeah, but it is important to note that although the Super Rod does still work, it is still very important that Azul put down that Sandshrew because it does deny the recovery of the Prime Catcher, which is a huge resource for Nicola.
Yeah, a couple energy coming back in. And let's see how Nicola can construct a decent turn here. Keeping enough energy in the discard pile to still Superior for full value here. Going to get rid of two Buddy Poffins.
Can't play those right now.
Yeah, not too handy, so good to get rid of those. And is it Tail Smash time?
It might well be.
There comes a time in every Chien-Pao player's life where they have to go for it.
Oh boy, here
we are.
Tail Smash. So, I mean, we've seen it a couple of times before, but reminder for everyone at home, it's free energy, flip a coin. If heads, it does nothing. If tails, it does nothing. Heads, 100 damage, but that is a tails.
It's a free turn for Azul, effectively. And this is where he can start making life even more difficult. Azul hasn't used any Eri for a while. A lot of cards have been drawn since he last scouted the information, and I think that this is the right call for Azul, just to see what's remaining resource-wise.
Yeah.
Really handy to know that there's an Iono possibly coming his way, so he may play out some additional cards that you may not have expected to use for a while, so that you're safeguarding around a hand disruption here.
Yeah, like we mentioned, Iono, disruption cards in general kind of coming out of a lot of the Chien-Pao lists, so now that Azul sees that, he's going to be, Gear's going to be turning, thinking, hold on, maybe I need to play a little bit differently to how I usually expect expect. But
Looks like Azul still content with the situation. When you're getting hit with Bibarrel, you know that your opponent's kind of on fumes. So just going to draw 3 more cards from Rotom.
Yeah, Tail
passes
Smash.
back over to Nicola.
Tail Smash is really not where it's at, I think it's safe to say. But now, yeah, going to fire off that Iono.
Yep, going to see 3 fresh cards for Nicola, and of course has Bibarrel in play. It's in the active to top up that hand size. But most importantly, Azul had like 20 plus cards.
Yeah.
So let's just deny that real quick.
Definitely a wise choice.
Maybe you find some wiggle room,
Yeah.
especially if you start flipping heads on these Tail Smashes.
There is another rare candy that's just been found, plus the Serene Heavy Ball. Here we go, Tail Smash again. Oh, no, wait, no, sorry.
It's gonna be
Injustice
Bibarrel
first.
rules. Yep.
Yeah, getting ahead of myself once again. But,
Drawn into the cancelling clone.
oh, okay. But, I mean...
I think we're just kind of out of resources to even use cancelling clone at this stage. Oh, it is going to be used for a retreat.
I guess we're not. Is it going to... Oh,
Is there a superior in the prize cards that Nicola's trying to dig towards here?
No, there isn't. There is one more
There's
water
a boss's
energy.
orders. That's another way to unlock yourself. But yeah, running out of ways to attack at this stage.
I do believe there's 1 superior energy retrieval left because
Okay.
there was 2 discarded, 1
Yep.
used. Oh wait, there's 2 been used. No, actually, I think 2 have been used. No, actually, yeah. So that's how. Yeah,
We're running low in every which way you look at it.
Do you actually have enough energy to finish this game?
It's going to be. Well, it's going to be. That's just shy of the KO. Yeah, because the minus 40.
Oh, yeah, from the Defiance Fest. Maybe. Oh, Nicola must have thought that he would have had enough, but
Ooh,
no, the
that's
Defiance.
trouble. Especially if there's a penny here, that is big trouble for Nicola.
I think there's a penny in hand. I can see it. It's right there.
Yep, like I said, that's trouble. That's going to be a real problem, I think. Azul going through the motions. Is there any reason to play anything but penny here?
I don't think so, and maybe there is.
Let's go take a look at resources.
Yeah.
Azul might be thinking that as soon as he slams the penny, it might be game over. So at this stage, have a look at just how many energy your opponent plays, just how many of every single card they play, because it's always about a resource war here.
Yeah. Although he did kind of already reveal that he had it, right?
Yeah,
so Nicola
possibly.
knows what's coming, but yeah, there is the penny. Nicola, okay, not packing up his cards yet, so maybe thinking there's a chance, but yeah, you just throw on the Defiance Vest, and now as Nicola, you've discarded free energy for essentially nothing, which is so brutal.
Yeah, that's horrific, because you need to capitalize on all of these energy if you're going to get through an army of tanky Snorlax. There's just so much bulk, so much meat to get through. When Hailblade is constantly discarding, it becomes a real issue. We do see a Greninja for a couple cards here.
Yeah, conceal cards. I mean,
Not
again,
much help.
What is even left in the deck at this point? It can't be much, right?
Yeah, it's tough out here.
Yeah.
You can use Ultra Ball and discard some cards and barrel up again.
Yep.
Can spin Pokestop.
Yep. So Pokestop coming in again. Oh, I mean, it's a hit.
More ways to discard. There's Iron Hands EX hitting the discard pile as well now. That was an attacker that maybe have been lined up at some stage for Nicola, but even the Lightning Energies found its way into the discard pile at this point.
I'm really curious to see what's up. Okay, we're going to see it now. Ultra Ball coming in, discarding another Ultra Ball and a Pokestop. What is left in the deck? Yeah, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing.
We are fresh out of resources. It's going to be a concession in game 1 from Nicola here.
Yep.
Azul taking game 1 in the winning in situation with Snorlax. He looked pretty well set from turn 1 onwards. The Eri was massive, and that really set him up nicely to just cruise through that game, it seemed.
Yeah, it's almost weird to talk about the game-winning play being on the first turn like that, but just 2 superior energy retrievals off of that first Eri, absolutely brutal. And we saw that Nicola, that was what Nicola needed. If there were more superior energy retrievals left, he might have actually had a chance to make a comeback there, but with both of them gone, no way.
Yeah, it's the stuff of nightmares for Nicola. You know that Eri is in the deck, and you kind of expect it throughout the game, but not necessarily turn 1.
No.
Oftentimes, Azul's trying to set up with Arvans, get Rotom into the mix, get Forest Hill Stone, get multiple Pokemon established. It just so happened that Azul's hand was good enough to slam an Eri, and hey, presto, that's 2 of the best things you want to find straight away in the discard pile, and it really gave him a lot of breathing room, I think, that game to just keep trapping Bibarrel as expected. So I want to see how Nicola adjusts to this game too.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because I don't think there was any reasonable way for Nicola to play around that turn 1 Eri. I mean,
you can't play around the Eri.
But it's
Just don't draw them.
Just don't draw them.
It's so simple. Yeah. But it's going to be more about that bench management. It's going to be about capitalizing on those Hail Blades and not missing out on any, making every damage counter count and actually leave no damage counter in play. Yeah. More importantly, so Penny can't get value. We see the fist bump. Azul has started with Chi-Yu EX. That's a great thing for Nicola because it's a water weak 2-prize Pokemon. That could be helping you on your way quite early on in the game to begin racing prize cards.
Yeah, Chi-Yu is something you really want to end the game with. Of course, with that Burning Singe, I believe it's called, it discards the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. But early on, you really don't want to put it out. It is 190 HP. It's not very strong. And as you already mentioned, weak to water as well. So Nicola's going to have a very easy time KOing this. And that's going to be a very easy part of the prize map for him.
We're going to see Radiant Greninja as well as Buddy Buddy Poffin. So Nicola is still developing the board quite nicely here. Still looking for the Bidoof. So once again, even though it was the way Nicola lost, it's still finding its way into play here. Nicola's still valuing drawing into your item cards rather than them being milled away either via Misfortune Sisters or via Airy, I suppose. Just making sure that you're not missing a beat. As we do see the Radiant Greninja coming in early.
I guess maybe Nicola's thinking, if I can just get a strong enough start quickly enough, and Bibarel helps me get there, that's how I win. So even though it opens up a potential avenue for a stalling trap play on the Bibarel, that's still worth it in the end.
So it seems like a pretty routine opener for Nicola. Got the attachment. We pass things over to Azul, who does have an Arven, so certainly getting into the game here.
Yes.
And see immediately Sandshrew getting eyed up, also having a look at Rotom, basically just trying out, making sure you know what one-ofs are available to you, just keeping track of all of these Pokemon. There's all actually playing a number of 2 counts of cards, just have even more safeguarding of certain things, a second copy of Mimikyu in the list, second copy of Rotom, so you're not getting caught in an awkward situation that you have a Pokemon and a Heavy Ball. Sometimes you see double Heavy Ball in the list, even with still one-of Pokemon. There's the Forest Stone coming into the mix, as well as Nest Ball, as expected. Yeah,
it's ever since, Arven came into play, it's funny, because at first it wasn't the card that saw a lot of play, but, now that it's the only way to get tools from the deck, and given how important Forest Steelstone is, it's become one of the staple supporters of our format, and, so as such an early option to find the key items to set up with, it's such a strong card, and even in these controlling archetypes, we see there grabbing, all the important resources needed to get going.
Earthen Vessel going to fish a couple fire energy out the deck. We could even see some early attacks with Chi-Yu EX if we really wanted to. Could also be used for retreating here to get into a Snorlax early, or just even a Mimikyu could be useful straight away. Trying to deny the early pressure of Chien-Pao.
Yep, so going to put down that Rotom V there from the Nest Ball. And another Nest Ball now coming down.
Yeah, this is a really strong start from Azul. I think one of the only issues of like a Snorlax archetype is that sometimes it can have a couple slow turns, but already we see a bunch of ball search for Azul, including his draw engine, and has Forest Hill Stone to fall back onto as well. So yeah, he's had a really great opener. Can retreat this Chi-Yu EX, not giving Nicola those easy prizes, and forcing more out of them. And we've seen that Nicola is happy to spend resources to rush the prizes whenever possible.
Yeah, and that's going to be the way forward, right? Especially now with so many 2 prizes on board, and with Nicola having this very wide setup, and not getting hit by a turn 1 Airy, most importantly, is going to be able to find the pieces to put this all together, as Azul does just end the turn on an instant charge. Now it's back over to Nicola. Let's see how he can set up.
Well, Irid is a nice pickup, so you can candy into Baxcalibur. And I wonder if this time we're still going to see a Radiant Greninja swing, or if this time it'll be Baxcalibur getting into the action. I still feel like it's such a great shout to go with Baxcalibur. It's not a huge amount of damage, but it's something you can spam every single turn and keep pressurizing Azul. Yeah, force him to play pennies rather than the disruption supporters is such a good thing to do.
Yeah, you have to run them out of resources somehow, right? And yeah, if you can keep doing attacks, but do those attacks in a way where you're not discarding energy every single time, especially if you're not going to be going for the big KOs on 2 prizes, that's definitely going to be the way to go.
We're going to see the Greninja drawing a couple cards here. See the Earthen Vessel find its way into the hand. See another Frigibax here.
Yep.
A few water energy rattling around, so we can launch an attack. Obviously, we have to retreat this Chien-Pao EX.
Yep, and then now I really would love to see an early KO on the Rotom here. I don't know how possible it is, but, you know, given how we talked earlier about the earlier you hit it, the better it is. If you can set up here the Excalibur and get that early KO, you're in such a good position to win because you've denied so many extra instant charge draws from the Rotom, and then not only that, you're 2 prizes closer to winning because you just getting those early 2-prize knockouts in.
Yeah, I think Nicola was trying to draw towards Rare Candy just naturally so they could play Boss's Orders instead, but it looks like they may be forced into Irida here.
It looks like there's some kind of discussion going on.
Yeah, if we get confirmation about the game paused, I know exactly what's happening. I know what's what, but the players may just have had something stopped here because I've actually spotted a deck list error for one of the players, for Nicola, unfortunately. So our judges are going to confirm what's going on here. It's one of those things where I have to notify people when I see it, but it's unfortunately Nicola's got a deck list error. They play Iron Hands EX, we've seen it. We saw it in the deck, and their deck list does not say Iron Hands EX. It has the single prize Iron Hands in their list, unfortunately.
No! It's so, yeah, that's, you can't have that.
Yep, okay, so that's the situation, and it's going to be down to the judges to figure out what's going on here. But in any case, Azul was in the driver's seat in the first game. Nicola still chose to develop the board in a very similar way to game 1. Do we think it's going to lead to different outcomes in this game, simply because maybe Azul started with a multi-prize Pokemon? Actually, it looks like the game's restarted here.
Yeah. I guess
seen so it turns out it was a judge call about something else, which means we might have another judge call in a moment, which is going to be great to see. Really can't wait for that. We'll try and get confirmation of the first judge call, and then we're going to give you confirmation of the second judge call. I really wish the game could stop as soon as possible, because the outcome might change, as we saw the Boss's Orders on Chien-Pao to take 2 prizes for Nicola there on Chien-Pao, on Chi-Yu EX.
Yeah, it's one of the other one of the other treasures of ruin.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we can get things under control once again.
Yeah, so
as it happens, Azul's still carrying on with his turn.
Yeah, so Forest Steel Stone coming on, and yeah, Star Alchemy being fired off. It's always a little bit tough in this situation, right? It's so different because Azul has not played an Airy turn 1. There are still plenty of superior energy retrievals left. And not only that, but, you know, Nicola has set up very, very nicely. Not even got her Excalibur out yet, and has already taken a 2-prize KO. Yeah,
that's a great thing. Azul just unfortunate to lead the Chi-Yu EX. And as we saw, Nicola got pretty close. They were in touching distance in that game 1. So possibly by just taking these cheeky 2 prizes early on, could put him right back into the mix here. That 1 copy of Boss's Orders. Also not like 100% in every Chien-Pao list, because most of the time you want to fill your deck with item cards instead. But yeah, 1 physical copy of Boss, quite handy in this situation.
Yeah, it's always a good thing to have, right? For so many different situations, there's more gusting outs is always a good thing. We did see, you know, it means you're not as reliant on that, you know, on that Prime Catcher plus Silene, as strong as that is. And there's just the more options you have to kind of pick off those things on the bench, the better, especially up against something like Control, where you don't want to be, you want to be able to retreat, right? And so you need to get the Snorlax out of the active.
Absolutely. There's potential Silene coming in for Azul here. Definitely something they were debating. Before you can just immediately Rotom into those cards to end your turn. Yeah. Definitely a nice combo to have in the deck.
Yeah, you're giving it Lucky Shake with the dice, and it looks like that was
just the one head, I think.
Yep.
Pointed at 1 at least.
Yeah.
It's just going to be Nest Ball. So you're not caught in an awkward situation. It's going to be the payment of retreat from Mimikyu into Snorlax here, because Counter Catcher is live.
Here it is.
And stop me if you've heard this. It's going to be Counter Catcher into Bidoof here. Yeah. Try and trap something that's not great at attacking.
Yeah, I mean, at least the Bidoof only has 1 retreat, but of course it doesn't really matter if you have an ability.
Yeah, retreat cost ain't that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's, I guess if you cancel in Cologne, you can retreat for 1 energy.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
Yeah. Oh boy. So now how does Nicola respond here? Probably doesn't want to evolve, I think it's safe to say. Well, you can find the Prime Catcher now, maybe, and just
go
in
super
hand,
aggressive. Cypher's in hand. There's a few different avenues for Nicola here. Depends how they want to navigate this. There's Ultra Ball, so you can go Big Barrel, like you mentioned, but doesn't feel great unless you're committing to early Tail Smacks.
It's it definitely doesn't feel great. Going to play down at Super Rod though, and I mean with that you can get some energies back. Shivery Chill them out if you can find the combo with the Excalibur, and you can find the rare candy. Start attaching some energies. Rain down with Super Cold. there is a lot that you need, right? Because you need to find the Rare Candy Baxcalibur combo, but you also need to find the Prime Catcher. There's a lot you need to sort of put together here, and it looks like the Cypher Maniac's code breaking is going to be the way that you start to do that.
Yep, I think there's already Baxcalibur in hand, so you can go for Cologne or you can go for Prime Catcher and get into the mix early here. To continue taking multiple prize KOs. I think this is how you pressurize Azul. If you can take out another Rotom here, could be absolutely massive. I think there's already Earthen Vessel in hand, and there's Shivery Chill. So you can go early Prime Catcher, get out of the way, also find Rare Candy. And obviously you need that to get backs rolling, to get super cold, all these energy down in a turn.
Yeah, he's putting it all together. If we see the Prime Catcher, I didn't quite see where he grabbed off the second one, but I can't.
It was the candy.
It was the candy.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, putting together all the pieces, and we'll be able to find enough energy to take a very, very quick 4 prizes. And I mean, the contrast to game 1 is stark.
And actually, plenty of resources remain this time around. That's the key difference. Nicola took a decent chunk of prizes in game 1, but was basically out at that point. And now, with those easier prizes available, you can slowly just crawl to victory over a long number of turns just by virtue of finding eventually your superior energy retrievals.
Yeah, you find 2 knockouts, right?
You should be able to at that stage.
Yeah, I mean,
still have all 4 superiors available this time.
Yeah. I mean, it is a shame that you can't combine the Prime Catcher with a Silene just so that you can sort of get it back before the Sandshrew comes down, but, you know...
There's no Silene actually in the deck list. I think Boss's Orders and Iono are in the list instead.
Oh, okay. Oh, so we were talking about something that wasn't even relevant then.
Well, from Azul's perspective, Sandshrew is blocking Silene, which is still a big deal.
Yeah, but perhaps not relevant is a little bit harsh, but more in the sense that it's a valid point that it ends up being moot in this specific instance, and it is something that, as you mentioned, is still going to be in Azul's mindset.
I think it's definitely going to be Prime onto Rotom V here.
Yeah,
no doubt about that. Azul's still got a low hand size, hasn't been able to accumulate much value from this Rotom just yet.
Yep.
So the full steam ahead approach from Nicola really paying off in game 2.
Yeah, it really is, and with that Shivery Chill, able to find 2 more energy, and I do believe there's enough in hand as well to just, I mean, it is a bit annoying that you need 4, again, just that 190, a really awkward number, just 10 above what would be a free energy knockout with the Hail Blade.
A little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
But we do get there with the combination of Shivery Chill and this Earthen Vessel. So 4 slammed into the active thanks to the super cold ability of Baxcalibur. Yep. And it will be another 2 prize KO. Yep. It looks like even getting another bit barrel into play here, so you can just draw back into some more resources.
Yeah. Right. Just a quick clarification, by the way, we just got word that first judge call was just for a small question that apparently took longer just because a translator was needed. But we'll keep you up to date on the other thing we mentioned as well with the decklist error.
Yep, no problem at all. Yep. The game's still going on. Yep. It feels like it's a genuine mistake from my perspective at the very least, and I imagine that's probably why it's still being debated right now. But it is, regardless, going to be another 2 prize KO. Nicola actually in a pretty good spot, as we've said, not too far away now. 2 more prize cards. It's difficult for Azul to deny them. Yeah,
and I imagine even though right now the position looks horrible for Azul, I can only imagine that the reason why he's carrying on is because he knows, like, there's about 10 minutes left on the clock at this point. So, maybe if he can buy himself just enough turns with, sort of bringing out this barrel, he can still, especially an Airy can help him get there. Exactly.
Airy's big. You have to get rid of that cancelling Cologne. Getting rid of Ultra Ball also means that Nicola's hand is a little bit more clogged up. Irida can obviously find Superior. But the fact that you're stopping Ultra Ball getting rid of these awkward fodder cards that sort of wait around in hand means that Industrious Incisors isn't getting the maximum value that Nicola's looking for here.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward when your hand is clogged up with things you can't use. Nicola has gone wide on the bench, so you can't play that Buddy Puffin. So yeah, getting rid of the Ultra Ball, definitely the right move there to just stop Nicola from being able to find more resources to take KOs.
Azul's going to be going for a Hisuian Heavy Ball here. And I don't think there's any cards that you can grab, but Azul does have a trusty notepad to keep track of what's available and what's not this game. So that's why we're going to see a few notes being taken from Azul there. Great thing to have access to when you need to know this information at times, especially when you have tutor effects like Arven in the deck list. You don't want to be caught into this awkward spot where you're looking for one thing and you actually don't have the ability to grab it. So definitely great to use one of those notepads. I'm a fan of them myself.
Yeah, it's one of the digital ones as well, which is great fun because every you just reset them and they're just they're fun.
Not an advert, but they are fantastic.
No. We're not endorsing any particular anything like that. It's just yeah, they're just handy things. So yeah, the prizes are going back in. Actually, something we should mention. It was in the prizes earlier, and well, it still is now, of course. Yeah, Azul does play that Mantine, which is kind of the replacement for Echoing Horn.
Yeah, but what's better than Bibarel? Bibarel's already in play.
Yeah, so. Exactly right.
Look at this. Azul knows that his hand is on fumes and needs to put Rotom into play. This is a huge risk because it does mean he could lose, as early as next turn,
yeah,
right, in theory.
Just the boss's orders needed, right?
Yeah. Well, we've seen boss's orders and Prime Catcher.
Wait. Oh, okay.
Of
yeah,
course,
we have. Yeah.
But it's something that, Azul's already seen a couple of strange counts in Nicola's list compared to the traditional 60s that we've seen in recent top cuts. So it's a small risk from Azul here, but he has to do it because he just needs cards so badly here.
Yeah, and is Nicola playing a Pal Pad? Actually, no. There's no way to get back the boss's orders. That is it for gusting.
The Superior does find its way to the hand. That's a big piece. It's huge that Eri was getting rid of the Cancelling Cologne here.
Yeah.
Because it may force Nicola into back to Tail Smash.
It's really not the position you want to be in. I mean, because now, you do the Tail Smash, especially on this Snorlax as well. It's got 250 HP thanks to that Hero's Cape.
That is not a small Snorlax by any stretch of the imagination.
That is a free hit KO where, not even a free hit KO, because you also need to hit heads 3 times as well.
Looks like Lost Vacuum is a piece that Nicola's trying to grab here. Definitely makes sense. The Hero's Cape is kind of the most valuable tool in Azul's toolkit.
And, it looks like we just got word now, so we're just going to throw it back to the desk here just while something the word has gotten through.
Yeah, as expected, I think we're going to see the Judge Call come to fruition now. Yeah. I feel like it's been debated backstage about what we should be doing. It seems like a genuine mistake, but we'll let you know as soon as possible that it was, once again, to repeat, a decklist error from Nicola here. They've put a 1-prize Iron Hands in their decklist, and they're playing an Iron Hands EX. It's the card you'd expect to be in the Chen-Pao deck, but it's one of those situations where at the end of the day, it is a mistake that's been made.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when things like this happen, of course, and it's not the way we want to see a day one end, especially after such a amazing slew of games that we've had. But we have no say, we can't not call it out, right?
No, we absolutely have to.
Yeah.
All right, because this might be a long one, we have Azul chatting as a video that we can have a look at in a moment, because it's the case that he came, fortunately, on a Thursday, so we could have a chat with him. And we spoke about all sorts. We talked about his historied career in the TCG, and we also talked about the here and now and how his year is going. Obviously, he already has his Worlds invite in multiple ways, but it's great to hear from him, obviously. Yeah,
it was really lovely to get to spend all that time with him. It was a really lovely interview. We even talked about it at the beginning of the game, right, that we got to spend that time, and it's really cool to be able to share that with you guys at home. And I do believe I just got word the video is ready for you guys, so take it.